Hi everyone. Having worked with more than 250 plus clients in the last 3 years, one-on-one, there are a few common things that I've noticed that people usually struggle with in relationships. So I've noted down 5 of them, and that is the agenda for today's video. If you would like to work with me one-on-one, or if you would like to take any of my other group coaching sessions, you can check the link in description. Let's dive right into it. First one is, if the other person acts right, then everything will be fine. It's because they are acting this way, I am acting this way. This is a trap. I know it's hard to accept, but you are responsible for all of your actions. Okay? And by saying that, I don't mean whatever the other person doing is a justifiable thing. They might be doing something toxic. They might be doing something, really unreasonable. But what I'm specifying here is how you are reacting to it, how you respond to it. Right? That is fully your responsibility. And a lot of time what we think is, it's because the other person is acting a certain way, my reaction is like this. Like, I'm crying because this person is doing this. I am yelling because this person is doing this. I would want you to just take a moment and separate that person's actions and your reactions. And whatever reaction that you are giving in to the situation, it comes completely from you. And when you focus on working on this reaction of yours, the outer problem will fix itself. What do I mean by that? Now, anytime the other person acts a certain way and you are reacting to it, especially in a very intense way, right? That's what usually bothers us, right? Sometimes you act in a very emotionally intense way, like crying, punishing, sabotaging, yelling, begging, pleading. So whatever reaction is coming from you, that's probably happening because whatever the other person is doing, it means something else in your head. Okay, so there's probably a filter through which this action goes, and it means something to you in your head. Now, this meaning that your mind attaches to this person's action, it could come from a deeper place. It could come from a place of your childhood wounds, or the wounds that you got from your previous relationships, or any other limiting belief that you have about yourself. It could come from a very unconscious place, and your unconscious mind would attach this meaning to what this person is doing. So it's not really about the person's action, but it's about what meaning you attach to it. So now that you attach a different meaning to this action, you are reacting to that meaning that you attached, not for the other person's action. Okay, I want you to be very clear of this. So when you guys are having a fight, whatever the other person is doing, you're not reacting to what they actually did. Instead, it goes through a filter and it means something to you. And whatever it means inside your head, for that meaning, you are reacting. Okay? Let's consider an example. Okay, let's say you and your partner are fighting, and your partner says they need like 1 or 2 days to think about it and process it. But you say that, no, I want to talk about it right now. Okay, now your partner, let's say, because they're very frustrated and they're not able to talk in the moment, and because they need space, they are taking a step back and you're trying to talk to them, they're probably not responding to it. And this could happen in phone calls or even like in person, okay? So them not responding to you in the moment and them wanting to have some alone time, but you wanting to have some conversation, it's a very momentary problem when you guys don't translate it differently in your head. So this is just the momentary problem. The momentary problem is that this person doesn't want to talk right now. You want to talk right now. So when you approach it as it is in the moment, it's easy to resolve this conflict. But what happens is when this person is maybe taking a step back and is not responding to you, but you already have a belief in your head that when someone ignores you, it's because you are unworthy. It's because your existence is not valuable. So if you already have like this wound inside you, then them ignoring you is going to go through this wound, and that wound is getting triggered now. In your head, the meaning you're attaching is, I'm not worthy. This person doesn't value me. This person doesn't think I'm worthy. That's the meaning your mind takes. And when you react, you're not really reacting to the momentary problem. You're reacting from a deeper place. You're reacting to a wound. And usually when you react to your wound, the reaction is not very fruitful. You either get defensive, you either self-sabotage, you either punish the other person, or you try to run away. Okay, so you're not really solving the momentary problem, rather it turns into a different conflict. And I'm not saying this from just one person's perspective. This could happen to both people. So I'm just giving you one example of this. Even for the other person, when maybe them wanting space and you're not giving them that space in the moment, and you're demanding them to speak, it could translate in their head as she's trying to control me or he's trying to control me. I need space, and they're trying to just take control of my time and my efforts or my availability. They're not letting me make my own decisions. They are suffocating me. So it could translate into anything in the other person's head. So again, when the other person is reacting, they are reacting to this wound and they're not reacting to the momentary problem. So any conflict is resolvable when the problem is only about the momentary problem, but when you guys attach a meaning to it and you react, the reaction that you give is fully your responsibility. No matter what the other person did. I'm not saying whatever the other person did could be justifiable, it could be a very bad thing as well. But the reaction that you are giving is fully on you. And I'm emphasizing on this because this is going to be really life-changing if you're in a toxic relationship or in a relationship with an emotionally unavailable person or an abusive person, right? Because in these scenarios, their action would really be bad. Like it could be really dismissive, it could be really toxic, okay? But I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, what is my reaction to it when this person is being dismissive or toxic? What am I doing? Am I crying? Am I begging? Am I pleading? Am I punishing? Am I doing certain things and coming back to it? So see what you are doing. And usually this will be a pattern, it will be a cycle. Anytime you guys have this fight, your reaction would be the same thing. You would always end up in this same reaction. So just think about what your reaction is and just realize that when you focus on rectifying your reaction instead of focusing on the other person, you can easily get out of the situation. Like even some people really try hard to get out of a toxic relationship, right? Let me tell you, the trauma bond, the attachment, the amount of time that you spent with this person, that bond that you have with the person, none of that matters when you start focusing on yourself. You know, people will say it's because you have the trauma bond you're with this person, it's because you're really close with this person and you've spent so many years, you're attached with this person, that's why you're not able to leave this person. From seeing what I've seen with my clients, I would tell you, I can 100% tell you that no matter what kind of trauma bond you have, no matter what kind of attachment you have, when you focus on resolving your reactions, when you focus on understanding your reactions, where it is coming from, and you slowly start to change your behavior, okay, the hold that the other person's action has on you will slowly start to fade. And when it starts to fade, it becomes really easier for you to leave that relationship. Fixing your inner world will do two things for you. One is now you don't have this filter of your wound. You don't have this meaning that you're attaching to every action. So you're able to see things clearly for what it is. Like if the person is manipulating you, you can see it. If the person is being very immature, you can see it. If the person is not a good person for you, you can see it. You can see things very clearly without this filter. That's one. And second is it really helps you take the right decision for the moment or for the situation. Because when you take decisions from your wound itself, you will keep repeating this pattern. Even if it's not with this person, the same would happen with another person. But when you start to work on your inner world and you rectify all of the things that is going on inside you, dealing with the outer person, dealing with the situation, looking people for who they are and seeing situation for what it is and rectifying them or leaving them, it becomes really easier. So that's number one. Your reaction is your responsibility. Second one is rules versus non-negotiables. So this one I tend to see in people who are trying to date, people who are dating for a while now, newly committed, people who are recently married. So I see this in them, which actually creates a lot of confusion. This is easily fixable. This creates a lot of confusion, which is there is a difference between Rule and non-negotiable. So you might have heard people tell you that when it comes to dating or marriage, you need to have non-negotiables, right? But there's a difference between a non-negotiable and a rule. A rule is imposed on the other person. Like, this person should always buy me flowers. This person should always pick me up and drop me. This person should text me every day. Okay, that is a rule. So a rule is imposed on the other person. So a rule is basically an expectation that you have in your head and you're imposing that on another person. A non-negotiable is imposed on you. You impose it on yourself. And you know that this is what I'll accept, this is what I'll not accept, these are my values, these are my standards, and if this person doesn't meet them, I'm not going to continue. Like, for example, if this person doesn't respect me, I'm going to take a step back, I'm going to reconsider, I might look for another partner. So this is a non-negotiable. Now the problem here is it is not okay to have rules. It is okay to have non-negotiables. Okay, it's not okay to tell someone that this is what you need to do. Like, this is a rule that I have in my head and you should follow that. It's not okay to tell someone that. No one likes rules. No one likes when rules are imposed on them. Okay, but having non-negotiables are absolutely fine. Now, just for example's sake, you can say that if this person maybe doesn't text me properly, or they just go missing in action for a long time, they don't reply to my texts, I'm going to take a step back. I'm not going to engage with this person. So that is a non-negotiable that you can have for yourself. But expecting the other person to text you every day or having this rule imposed on another person is not okay, and it will inevitably cause conflicts and resentment. Having said that, rules are not okay and non-negotiables are okay, I want to also emphasize on how do you choose a non-negotiable, because it's really important. Your non-negotiables should come from your values and the character you expect in the other person. It should not come from an influenced factor, or it should not come from your past trauma. And I'm going to give you an example for this. I was talking to a friend of mine and she told me that one of her non-negotiables is that a person should always pick her up and drop her home. So that is something that's really important to her, and she would want her partner to do it all the time. And when I asked her what made her choose this as one of her non-negotiables, she told me that in her past relationship, she had faced some difficulties with the previous partner in terms of how available he was, and she associated availability and efforts with picking up and dropping. So that non-negotiable was coming from her past relationship. That is not a good non-negotiable to have. Similarly, there are a lot of other non-negotiables going around, which is like, my partner should always buy me flowers, my partner should always pay for the dates, my partner should always pick me up and drop me, my partner should text me every day. Now, these are not good non-negotiables to have, because anyone can do this. This does not define the person's character in any way. Like, an emotionally unavailable person, a toxic person, a really bad person, all of them can do this. All of them can buy you flowers. All of them can pay for dates. All of them can pick you up and drop you every single time. These things can easily be faked. This doesn't define the person's character in any way. A non-negotiable should be something where you consider the person's values, your compatibility, the person's character, the person's mindset, because those things cannot be faked, right? For example, if the person doesn't respect me or respect women in general, I'm not going to continue this. If this person thinks cheating is fine, I'm not going to consider this. So these things focuses on the person's character, mindset, values, and it looks at compatibility on a deeper level. But all the other things are kind of very superficial. Anyone can do that and anyone can fake it, and that's not a good non-negotiable to have. So a good non-negotiable would be something where you consider the other person's character, values, morals, ethics, principles, mindset. So moving on to third one, okay, this is a quick one, okay. It's okay to have expectations, okay. Everyone has expectations. It's okay to have expectations from your partner, and it's okay to even ask them for it. Like, it's okay to communicate your expectations to your partner. But the problem here is, before communicating your expectations, I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, am I already giving what I'm asking from this person? Because if you're not already giving it, it's absolutely not okay to ask it from the person, right? Now, the amount in which you guys give could actually differ, and it's absolutely fine. Like, for example, you might be a very emotionally nurturing person, and the way you nurture this person could be like, let's say, you do it up to like 70-80%, but the other person doesn't have that much capacity. So maybe the level of nurturance that they give could be like 30-40%. Okay, so it's okay to have this mismatch in terms of how much you give each other and the capacity you have. But it's okay to communicate this expectation as well. But whatever expectation you guys have, both of you should be mutually giving it to each other. So before you go to your partner and ask them for something, some of your expectation, before you communicate it, just ask yourself, am I already giving this to this person? So if you're already giving it, it's absolutely fine for you to ask it. But if you yourself are not giving it, then it's not really okay to ask the other person to do the full labor. Now, the second thing is, when you're communicating this to your partner, before you go ahead and react in a certain way, like maybe you guys had a fight and you're gonna say this in a maybe rude or bad tone, whatever it is, before going ahead with the reaction that you have, just take a moment and ask yourself, will I be okay if my partner came to me and asked me this in the same way that I'm gonna ask them right now? Like, will I be okay if they reacted the same way that I'm gonna react right now? Just imagine them saying the same stuff to you or doing the same stuff to you before you go ahead and do it. And if it bothers you, if it hurts you, and if you feel like, no, I would not be okay, then it's not okay to react that way, or it's not okay to communicate the way you're going to be communicating. A lot of times we tend to communicate in a very harsh and critical way. We shame them, we insult them. So instead of doing that, just ask yourself, will I be okay if they did the same thing? And if I will not be okay with it, then you should change the way you're going to ask this. You should change your approach. You should choose a different way of communication. So two things here. Am I already giving what I'm expecting? And if they reacted the same way that I'm going to react now, will I be okay? So number 4 is, what are actually the toxic behaviors? I think a lot of people are clueless about what is a toxic behavior and what is not. So I made a quick list of few things, like whatever I had in top of my head. If I get something else, I probably put it in the screen. So firstly, saying sorry and then doing the same thing, that is a manipulative behavior. Okay, so in the moment they are saying sorry and then they're continuing to do the same thing, that is a very emotionally manipulative toxic behavior. Number 2 is controlling, trying to control your behavior, micromanaging everything about your life. That's a toxic behavior. Number 3, not taking no for an answer, and anytime you say no, they get upset and they are like, they're throwing a tantrum. That is a toxic behavior. And the 4th one is, they might try to convince you to do something, but then you don't agree to it, and then you say no, they start to cry or they start to like emotionally manipulate, and you still say no, they might get angry and they might start to shame you or criticize you and give you this whole insulting, very shameful drama. They again throw a tantrum. So this is usually a very manipulative behavior that some people tend to do. This is like a step-by-step thing. They first ask you nicely, and then when you say no, they kind of take the other routes. Either it's emotional manipulation or it's anger and insult and shame. So basically, for them, in their mind, they just want to somehow make you do this. And because you're saying no, they're trying everything to make you say yes. Like, first they try one approach, it's not working, and then they try another approach, it's not working, and then they try another approach. So this is a very toxic behavior. Silent treatment is another toxic behavior. Okay, withholding communication, right, not talking to you is a toxic behavior. And there's a small difference. Silent treatment is not the same as taking space and being quiet to process stuff. So the difference between these two is that silent treatment, when they give you silent treatment, they are expecting you to do something, right? They're expecting you to given into certain things, expecting a behavior from you, and once you give in that behavior, the other person will resume talking to you. Okay, that is a very manipulative thing. That's toxic. But taking some space to process things, and coming back once they're fine in their head, that is not a toxic behavior. They're not trying to make you do anything, they're just taking time for themselves. So that's fine. Emotional blackmail is a toxic behavior. Withholding love is also a toxic behavior. So what they're doing is withholding their lovely gestures until you give in, and then once you give in, they will start to give the love back. So that is again a very manipulative behavior. Lastly, punishing you is also a manipulative behavior, and punishment can be in any form, right? Sometimes punishment could be insulting you in front of their friends. Punishment could also be, in a simple way, punishment could also be like blocking you on phone, not giving you access to call them or text them, saying something really rude, insulting you, shaming you, criticizing you. So all of these are forms of punishment. So punishment is also not a very healthy behavior. Now, from whatever I just mentioned, maybe some of you could be doing that unknowingly. Like maybe you never really knew that silent treatment is a bad thing, and maybe it's not affecting your dynamic that much, but I would recommend that it's really important to see if there are any unhealthy coping mechanisms or unhealthy conflict resolution that you guys are doing, and to fix it. Because even if you guys are okay with it, even if you guys think that that's not a huge deal, we somehow come back together and we're okay with it, that's totally fine. That's your relationship. But it would affect your kids as well in case you guys get married, or if you guys are already a married couple. The way you guys fight and the way you guys patch up, that's exactly how your kid is going to relate with you, and your kid is going to relate with their partner as well. So it's important to look at unhealthy behaviors and fix them. Okay, fifth one, the last one. So this one is very, very important. Okay, this tends to affect usually people who are in a very one-sided relationship. In certain relationships, one person would be putting more efforts and the other person is not, or one person is more emotionally invested, or one person is more emotionally reactive and the other person is not. Okay, in those situations, this tend to turn into a problem where the intention with which you're going to communicate with the person should be very clear in your head first. While you're trying to communicate, if you already have an expectation in your head as to how the other person should react, or how the other person should respond to you, what the other person should say, and then you're taking this action, that's a recipe for disaster. Because if the other person doesn't respond the way you expected, this is going to put you further down. You're going to feel even worse, and you will start thinking, why did I even take this action in the first place? So before taking any action, ask yourself first, no matter what response I get from them, will I still be satisfied that I took this step? No matter what the other person is going to do, will I be okay with what I just did? Will I be proud of what I just did? I'll give you a very simple example, okay? Let's say you guys are fighting and you guys haven't spoken in like 2-3 weeks. You are angry about it as well. You are angry that this person has not reached out to you, but you are wanting to talk to them. You want to reach out. I'm specifically talking about people who are emotionally more reactive and emotionally more invested. So now you really want to talk to this person, and you're already worried that this person has not spoken to you in 3 weeks. Okay, so you're already in a very painful state, and what you do is, okay, I'll ask sorry, and this person will now talk to me. So you go ahead and ask sorry, and your expectation of that sorry is that the other person should accept that sorry and talk to you again. That's the expectation you have. But if that doesn't happen, if the other person doesn't accept your apology, if they don't reply, then that's going to put you further down into this loop of why did they not do this, and it's going to hurt you more. But before texting sorry, just ask yourself, even if I don't get a reply, even if the person replies angrily, no matter what the other person's response is, will I still be proud of saying this sorry? Do I really want to say sorry at this point? That's why I'm saying this. So this you have to ask before doing anything in terms of your conflicts. If I do this right now, will I be proud of it? No matter what the response is from the other person. Will I be satisfied that I did this? Do I really want to do this? Okay, am I sending a sorry because I really want to apologize, or am I sending a sorry because I want the person to talk to me, to maybe validate me, or I want to know if the person is still there and they want to talk to me? So you need to be very clear of your intentions, and whatever your intentions are, okay, only if it is a genuine right intention, go ahead with it. Otherwise, it's going to cause you more problems than what's already existing. So those are the 5 things that I had for you guys. If you're still here, I hope that was helpful. And like I said, if you would like to work with me one-on-one, or if you would like to join any of my group coaching sessions that happens once every month, you can click the link in the description. I'll see you all in another video. Bye. Take care.